So we've all heard of the saying, "Don't put all your eggs in one basket." But I've heard and spoken to several very successful people, and they don't believe in that. And I used to not believe in it. What do you guys think?
So
Should you
don't have a backup plan because if you
should you put all your eggs in one basket, or should like go all in, or should you diversify and like have kind of 4, 5, 6 different options?
I don't know. I'm of two minds, and I think you can make arguments for both. I was taught growing up, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's just always have a backup plan. But as I got older, I think I heard somebody say, like, if you have a backup plan, that means you're expecting to not be successful in what you're doing. And when I think about like an athlete, and if you're a golf lover, and regardless of how you feel, like Tiger Woods, I think watching an interview, that's all his dad taught him how to do, was to play golf. And that's what he focused on. He didn't do any other sports. And I struggle with this with my own children. Like, do I put them in the one thing that they're good at so that they're going to be like maybe the best at it? Or do I allow them to explore various interests and figure out what they're good at and have, multiple skills? So I don't know. I think as I get older, putting your eggs in one basket, like finding time as to deciding what you're going to focus on and spend your time on is what's going to be the most successful. So
okay, how about you, Sanjay? Are you all in? Are you a man that's all in, or are you diversified?
I think it depends on what you're talking about, right? Are you talking about my investment portfolio?
I knew he was going to go there. I knew he's going to go there.
Are you talking about me being a dad? I'm all in.
Right.
Are you talking about me being a husband? I'm all in. Are you talking about me in terms of what I do for my career? I'm all in. I think if you're talking about how I invest, you probably want to diversify.
Yeah. That's right.
But I think it depends. Like I think if you're really keen on if your kid really likes sport, they're really good at it, then you go all in. Hey, let me support it. They get a scholarship to wherever. Maybe they go pro. I think for certain things, and Zahid, knows better than probably me for sure. If you're starting your own business, I think you got to go all in, right? Mm-hmm. To your point, if you have a plan B, then there's a part of you that thinks that this isn't gonna succeed, right? And you want it to be 100% positive, all in, right?
Yeah, I think with investment portfolios, I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Hedge your bets. You got to diversify.
Yeah.
With everything else, look, the predominant thinking now is that 10,000 hour rule. Mm-hmm. To be really good at something, you got to put X amount, maybe not 10,000 hours, but the point is you have to be focused on it, and you have to have that drive to singularly go after excelling at whatever skill it is that you're trying to do. Now, with kids, ideally, I think you want to expose them to many different things when they're younger, right? Let them find their own passion. Mm-hmm. And at that point, they may or may not go all in on whatever their passion is. They may stay a generalist as they get older, right? But all in, I think, is probably the way to go in just about every facet of your life, other than Mr. Bankerman here,
and your financing,
investments, portfolio. Yeah. So that's what I think. To be really good at something, you have to put in the time. You have to be singularly minded to achieve that goal.
Yeah. Like, how bad do you want that goal? Right?
How bad do you want it? Now, I'll say this. For some people, having a plan B gives them the comfort to excel in their plan A.
Yeah, because that safety net kind of gives
them. But that comes from knowing yourself, right? Maybe you can't be 100% on your plan A unless you know in the back that you have a bit of a plan B going. Right.
Interesting about that topic about the plan A, plan B. Have you guys heard of the story about the founder of Chipotle?
No.
How he wanted to make this like really high end restaurant, like that was his dream, right? Like make a one of the best restaurants in the city. So he opened up Chipotle to be his plan B to make his plan A. But guess what happened?
It became plan A.
It became his plan A.
What was his plan A?
Fine dining.
Well, to
I
make
guess?
like a fine dining or like a really
Okay.
high end kind of restaurant, like
Okay.
one of those place to be seen and to see and to be seen kind of areas.
Right.
But his plan B
So
became.
that goes back to diversifying.
Well,
yes.
it could be, but it could
Yeah,
be
you
like
get
your
two
point.
options.
Yeah,
Right.
but in terms of, so there's this saying. I don't know if you guys know the founder of Calendly, right? I'm sure you guys all use that app or the software. Book a. I send you an email. Here's like, here, book a time in my calendar. Click the
Okay,
link and
yeah.
boom, you have all the slots. You book it. Basically, everyone uses Calendly, right? It's founded by a guy named Topi, I believe his name is, and he's now the most wealthy black immigrant American, right? His company's worth, I think, $2 or $3 billion. I think his background is Nigerian. Anyhow, he had this amazing saying. I love it. I use it all the time. Conventional thinking only got me conventional results. Right?
Right.
So one of the conventional thinking is, put all your eggs in one basket. I agree with you guys. I think it's about, the situation. Sometimes it is best to diversify. Sometimes it is best to go all in. I like what you said about, if you have a plan B or you have a backup plan, you're kind of expecting the first one to fail. I've seen that a few times. Some of the best people I've worked for, the most successful people, they go all in. But here's the difference though. They go all in, so they'll believe in something and they'll believe it so much, even if you're like, that doesn't sound like it's gonna work, right? And often, it doesn't work out. But what they do is they'll believe an idea, they'll go all into this idea, spend a lot of money, effort, time on this. Then one day they'll wake up and say, this is not working, and they'll just like that, almost forget about it and just move to the next thing, right? So they have that gear to go all in one idea, one thought for like 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, and then one day realize, nah, it's not working. It's not meeting my metrics, my goals. Boom, just put it down and go to the next thing, right? So I think in many times, like, maybe when you're courting your significant other and, did you have all, multiple options? No, you probably put all your eggs in one basket, right? So I think many times we do that when we know this is the right thing, right? You go all in. But sometimes when it's like, hey, there's no proven science, or I don't have like too much control of the situation, maybe it's best to diversify.
Well, certain religions you can have multiple wives, right? So you can Islam, you can have 4, I believe. So
Which
diversify.
Can you have multiple husbands?
There is a
one.
subsect in India, yes, where you can have multiple husbands.
This just sounds like a lot of work.
But the last thing I was going to say,
Yeah, true.
the last thing to what you're saying is, yeah, I think that also is a personality trait, like risk tolerance, right? Like I find like a lot of people who are entrepreneurs are risk takers, right? And the people who are risk averse typically will gravitate to, like corporate, cushy job, government jobs.
Right.
And I think the risk takers will, they'll tell you like, hey, I failed 5 times before I succeeded.
Yeah.
Right? And they're okay with failure, right?
Right.
So.
Yep.